Good evening everyone. On behalf of Vivekananda Samiti IIT Kanpur, I welcome you to this evening's talk titled You Are the Creator of Your Own Destiny by Swami Satyamayananda ji. Before we proceed on to today's lecture, here is a brief account of Vivekananda Samiti IIT Kanpur. Vivekananda Samiti is one of our oldest clubs of the institute. Functioning for over 4 decades now, it has been disseminating and actualizing the teachings of Swami Vivekananda, not only on campus but also outside it. We have conducted several activities including community services such as literary camps and health camps for the underprivileged, weekly discussions on Swami Vivekananda's life and works, Sanskrit and Vedanta classes, and talks and workshops on various subjects by eminent scholars. To know the latest updates of Vivekananda Samiti, you may wish to subscribe to our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, whose links are given on the blackboard. We are happy to inform you that our YouTube channel viewership has crossed over 2.5 million across the globe, and our Facebook page has over 10,000 likes too. Now about our speaker, Swami Satyamayananda ji is the present Secretary of Ramakrisha Mission Ashram Kanpur. Prior to that, he served as an Acharya at the monastic probationary center at Belur Math for several years. Following this, he served as the editor of the scholarly monthly English magazine Prabuddha Bharata that was initiated by Swami Vivekananda over 100 years ago. Subjects of his interest include Indian scriptures, philosophy and teaching. Usually people take credit for their success and blame destiny for their failures. So who is responsible for our good and bad fortunes, success and failures? Are we only responsible, or are there other factors that determine our successes and failures? We hope Swamiji will give us some insight into this crucial subject this evening. I welcome Swamiji for the talk.
So, thank you for the long list of enumerations that our friend Apala has kindly decided to give me. Today's topic, as we mentioned, you are the creator of your own destiny. Now, this is the quotation of Swami Vivekananda. You are the creator of your own destiny. And the rest of the second part of the quotation, all the strength and succor you want is within yourself. And therefore make your own future. So this part of the sentence is rarely quoted because that lies the answer to what we are going to discuss today. Okay. There are generally two views, about destiny. I'm using the word destiny in a very, you can say, non-technical way. One is, the modern view. You will say, we are in control of everything. I am in control of everything. I am the master of circumstances. That's what happens. We know how good we are at mastering our circumstances. We may for a few minutes or a few hours, but then there is a traditional, or you can say the other view, that we have actually no control over ourselves nor over circumstances. Okay? And what Swami Vivekananda wanted us to think about, how to look at this, he had mentioned a few solutions and how to tackle this problem. So both these views, the modern view that we are in charge of everything, we are in control of everything, is partially right and partially wrong. And the idea that we are powerless, we are the creatures of circumstance, that also is partially right and partially wrong. So if you club both of them together, we will get a kind of a solution to what exactly is. We all know that there is something that impels us. Okay. And at the same time, we feel that impulse can be contained, to be controlled, that we have a kind of a self-expression of will. We talk about willpower and, So we can see that we can modify things, modify our bodies and minds, and modify even the external world. The whole of, the history of humanity has been the working of the human will on the external world. If we would have simply waited and said, destiny will take us towards our goal, we don't know what's a goal. And we will be good as, Swami Vivekananda says, like stones or trees. They have no will to go against nature. So we have two views that are, sharply in contrast, yet they are very relevant, and you can see both these forces working. There are things that simply cannot be worked upon by the human mind. And they keep on as it is, goes on and on and on. And there are things which the human mind can work on, and this whole history of civilization is nothing but the human mind working on the external world. Okay. So this is this. So in the scriptures, something called karma. Now karma, don't get frightened about the word karma. It's a huge word with a huge implication. But there's another word along with karma that's called purushakara. That's called self-effort. Now, when we know that both these forces mold us and both are essential, we will see how we can carve out slowly, part of our destiny. Before we go into the main topic, with destiny, there's something called faith. Faith. That's my faith. That's my Kokapala Leka. That's written in my. Now, people of this type become fatalist. Faith and fatalist. Now, who becomes fatalist? There are people who believe that there is a particular natural order of things in the world. The world moves in a fixed order, in a fixed orbit, and you cannot change it much. You cannot do anything about it. There is something called a design theory. The world has been designed perfectly, and so perfectly, silly. The whole world is so imperfect. And there is absolutely no design in this world. If there was a design, actually it's a human mind that seeks a few patterns and says it's perfectly designed. No, even our bodies are badly designed. And there are various answers to various things. So, but those who believe there is a kind of a fixity in things, a fixed order of the universe, a fixed order for the earth, and a fixed order and a design for everything, and this and that, they become fatalist. They believe in fate. This is inevitable. You're supposed to. You're going to have this. Okay. So this is faith. The another is determinism. Now determinism is also generally overlapping with the word faith and destiny. But what we are finding is determinism is nothing but a simple law of causation. Karya Karana, the whole chain, we see the law of causation working in this world. Everything that happens has to have a cause. Okay? And that cause has to have another preceding cause. And so on and so on. And similarly, whatever happens now is an effect. It's a cause thing. But it has a previous cause. So the cause becomes the effect, and the effect becomes in turn the cause. And it keeps on and on and on and on. And this is determinism. Okay. And now when we talk about destiny, there's a slight difference. Destiny is there's an unseen power that guides us towards our future. Okay, that's a word you get destination from. So in Latin, it's destinatare, means to establish, to fix things. Now, this very fact that destiny is something fixed, events and things happen due to some power working on us. As simple as that. Now, what is that power? That's a power called destiny. Now, it's very easy to give a word, to a huge phenomena and leave it as that. So we have the word destiny, but when the moment you try to analyze it or try to find what are the implications, you find this word itself is inadequate to explain the whole of the phenomena that's happening to us and to others. So we have another very important point. What happens is we all have, human beings have something called the self-consciousness. Dolphins have it to a certain extent, and chimpanzees have it, and a few other animals. But generally, this self-consciousness is expanded in human beings. The human mind is self-conscious, and that has been the greatest mystery of the human, you can say, the universe and the human society and the psychology, the self-consciousness. The self-consciousness has made us what we are today. And the more self-conscious a person is, the more elevated, the more spiritual, or the more intellectual, or the more moral, or whatever you can say. But he becomes better, he or she becomes better. The more self-aware you are, self-conscious. One of the defects of self-consciousness is we can visualize our own future. We can visualize our own death. We know we are going to die. Okay? And we know a person who keeps on smoking, he knows somewhere behind this, I'm setting something in motion, a chain in motion. And slowly, I might end up there, die. But what we are trying to see is that we can visualize our own death. We can visualize our own future. Okay? We can, in retrospect, find out what exactly went wrong, where. So this is the power of self-consciousness. The advantages as well as the disadvantages. And every person and every, culture in this world up till now has been trying to tinker with this future business. What, why, where, and how it's happened. And we have a kind of a conception about ourselves. Generally what happens is we have a conception of ourselves, but our self-consciousness makes that self-image within us a kind of a embellished one. Embellished ones, it's a shobhana. If I am short, in my own self-imagined world, I am very tall. If I am very thin, in my self-consciousness, I am very, can say, muscular or something like that. So each one has a own self-image in that self-consciousness. And we, as it were, in our mind, journey towards our future. And we know at the same time that there are so many factors that will disturb this nice dream of mine. I know things don't happen to me favorably all the time. Because the world is like that. It will not give you any kind of favorable, you can say, kind of path or work or facilities that you can push on without any kind of effort. Everything that happens to you is the result of struggling and fighting and acquiring. Okay? Nobody gives you a free lunch. Nothing is free in this universe. The air we breathe, the air we breathe also is not free. It's killing you slowly. Okay? So, the less you breathe, they say, the longer you live. and you keep on free air, you keep on breathing, you start diminishing your own lifespan. So just an example, so nothing is free. You have to snatch things away from surround. Now, what happens is I am not the only self-conscious person in this universe. That's a problem. If I was, then I would have been a happy person. Okay? But there are other self-conscious people also around who are also having those same dreams that I have. And I'm going to have to struggle along. So my struggle is along with other self-conscious beings and the other unself-conscious beings who work mainly on the instinctive level and the insentient, the world outside. So here we have a kind of we are sitting in a world, we are self-conscious, and at the same time this whole world is there, and we are supposed to fight against that. We know that everything that has ever happened to me is a result of two things: my effort as well as people's contributions, like your culture, your religion, your name, your language, the type of food you eat, and this and that is a result of what? It's a result of social living. There's nothing else. We have picked up things from there. There was a time when people used to think that the child is born with a tabula rasa, clean slate of mind. Now this thing is, there are some people still hanging on to that idea, but it's no longer, you can say, tenable. It's shown that we come along with certain powers, with certain faculties, with certain endowments, and then we keep on adding on to that. Okay, this is what. And we add on to that from where? From the parents, from the teachers, and etc., etc. The whole world keeps on. We keep on absorbing, but we keep on growing according to our own nature. So when we talk about destiny, the traditional views, what happens is we find that there are two things. We always want to link ourselves with this world. I am a self-conscious person, but my linkage is always with the external world. And the first thing, when our ancestors were, sitting down in the dark, and they don't know what animal is going to pounce on them, and then they should light a fire, and they should light in the fire, and they keep on talking, my grandfather did this, my father did that, and that time this lifespan was very small. So, and they used to keep on talking, and sometimes cock and bull stories and this and that, and they used to see the night skies, So it is from there all ancient, you can say, peoples have worshipped fire. Fire has been. It is nothing but an evolution of that campfire we used to light to save us from those animals in the dark. And looking at those night skies, we started linking ourselves with this fire, with the stars out in the. And the first thing that we did was these stars. Maybe yes, I think when I was getting a stomach ache, that star was rising. When I got a headache, that particular star was rising. I was finding patterns, And then as human beings, self-conscious persons, I always endow things with self-consciousness. Maybe I'm self-conscious, maybe the stars also are self-conscious. So they become gods to me. So my destiny, my stomach ache was linked to that particular god which came, that star which is nothing but a kind of a human, you can say, need to connect. I cannot connect with something wild animals and dangerous things. I'll connect with something benign and something which favors me. So I started linking my, you can say, destiny and my illness or whatever with that particular. Then I started linking my harvesting and my other things with a particular, you can say, constellation or a particular. The moment I started linking, what happened was I started now personifying them. This is what is maybe Vishnu or Shiva or whatever, Agni, Indra and all, we find that if I can do something for them here, they'll be happy there. So I started building temples. The fire itself became a place where I could worship them. So my belief in destiny was reinforced my belief in these gods. And as I kept on worshipping them and thinking, oh, I've got a stomachache, please do something about it. Okay, this kept on reinforcing that belief that they are in charge of my destiny. You understood what's happening? That if I could pray to them or I could do something for them, they will take care of me. That's what. Then the second thing I did was I started seeing patterns everywhere. You have patterns, in the seasons and all. My destiny was linked with the patterns. The winter comes and summer comes and my behavior changes, my clothing changes, my fashion changes, my things, my needs change according to seasons. My destiny was linked with the seasons. My destiny was linked to my family. Oh, my father was a tall fellow, I'm a short fellow. Maybe I'll become taller than him. My family, my tribe, my clan, that was the most important thing in the ancient world. Even today, my class, my caste, you can say clan, and people have been fighting these tribal wars and clan wars and thousands and thousands of years. My destiny was linked with that. My destiny was linked with my human body. I'm a male, so I'll have a male destiny. As a female destiny. Yeah, you're tied down. You're linked to that. So you are linked to the genetics also, And then you are on earth and you are supposed to behave like an earthling. You have an earthling, you can say, destiny. People talk about going to Mars and this and that, and that's another kind of a illusion that there are people there in Mars or people somewhere outside and they look exactly like us. They don't look, if they are there, they will not look exactly like us at all. Okay, that's another form of personification. If there are aliens, they should have a head and all. No, that gravity itself is high there, will not give you this kind of a shape, a human shape at all. So I am starting linking my destiny, my future, my existence with everything. My class, my clan, my family, and suppose now it's even my genetics, Now if I got a gene that will make me fat, you see, I'm destined to be fat. I've got a genetic pool which will make me fat. Or somebody says, no, it's actually make me thin. I've got a. So we just said, I'll give an idea that we are trying to link ourselves with other things, and I'm destined to be this, and destined to be that, and destined to be this, and this. I'm come from north, and this fellow from south, and this is east, and we all have a kind of a self-imposed limitation. Your linking is okay, but the limitation that you're putting on yourself is wrong. That is where we are actually becoming the creatures of circumstance. Instead of fighting, we are slowly withdrawing away. In Indian psychology and philosophy, we have this something called Bhagya Devi, and we also have the goddess of fortune, and we have something called Niyati, something that is taking you. There are things that will slowly, you are born, and then slowly you go through childhood and youth and adulthood and old age and then death, and this is Niyati. Okay. Swami Vivekananda says those Shastra, those commentators and those authors of the scriptures who focused more on work, the work aspect, they made secondary this idea of destiny. They made primary the idea of self-effort. Okay, but those authors and those, we can say, commentators who are more aligned with either bhakti yoga or whatever, they gave precedence to destiny. So it depends on what side you are on. If you are a very active person, you will not be stopped by a small thing. Something comes in your way and you stop. You say, that's my destiny, wait, keep quiet. No. You will keep on pushing at it. So destiny, the sequence of things, a sequence of events that happen are either low, middling, or intense. Something happens, I'm destined, maybe I was destined to fall down or stumble and all. There are some middling things that, you see, I was destined to fail in these examinations. Okay, that's a little, you get shaken up. And there are higher, you can say, intense events, like you're driving and then you come across an accident. Now these are, you can say, intense. So it depends on what. Everywhere you'll find that you have also contributed to this mild, middling, or intense, you can say, accident or failure or something like that. If I was careful, I would not have fallen down. Okay, simple as that. Somewhere your own contribution is also there on this side. So simply blaming, we always try to keep on blaming the external world. That is what we have generally been doing. So when we talk about, Swami Vivekananda says, no, the first thing you do, stop blaming the external world. That's the first thing you do. And take the whole blame on your shoulders. The preceding part of this sentence is, take the whole blame on your shoulders and then know that you are the creator of your own destiny. Okay. So we see that we can, I gave you a hint that we can modify things. I have a particular thing here and I can modify it. This was once a tree and now it's a table. And this can be continuously modified according to my will. Okay. I keep on working my will on this particular thing. So a particular river is flowing for thousands of years. Can I stop and change this course? I can. Slowly. I can keep on building dams or keep on throwing mud and slowly, I can change the course. The very fact that if I sit down and say, this has been going for 1,000 years, I cannot do anything about it. You are mistaken. Okay. Fire burns. We know that this is natural. But in particular states of mind, fire will not touch you at all. When you get into a kind of a semi-trance, in a heightened state of consciousness, you can walk on fire, you can sit on fire, you can eat fire, nothing happens to you. What happens then? What happened to that fire with its natural burning power? You've conquered it. Simple as that. Now, when we know that we can take things which have been having a long pattern and yet control it, we have something in our own hands. When we are young, we were saying, there's an old song, क्या मुट्ठी में है तकदीर हमारा, that was the and that was a song we all liked. It's nice to hear it, but that very essential message, मुट्ठी में है तकदीर हमारा. We'll go to a palmist, we'll go to an astrologer, we'll say, what about this? That is a form of superstition that still humans, at least educated human beings, are still foolishly going towards all these things. Amazing. Somewhere there's a kind of a weakness. Somewhere there's no self-reliance on your own powers. Okay. So we are still want to become like slaves. We don't want to come and break free. This very idea of going searching for the palmists and astrologers and the whole lot of things, it shows that you have somewhere have got no self-confidence, that there's a kind of a power, that Purushakara was talking about, which you have not manifested yourself. So when we know that you can control the flow of events, then there is a kind of a new dimension coming up. Everywhere you'll find, even the Bhagavad Gita in towards the last chapter, it talks of adhishthanam tata karta karanam cha pritak vidam vividasha pritak cheshta daivam chaivatra panchavam. So it talks about adhishthanam, you have the body, and the idea that I am the doer, mai karta hu. Adhishthanam tata karta karanam, I have these instruments, the body, I have eyes and ears and hands, and vividasha pritak, I have this life force within me. I have the whole, you can say, equipment with me. There is one still factor which is not in my hand, which is called daiva, the external world. To work, I need a sun, just for example. Or I need to have some external support for this support. So the four factors are there in my hand. There's one factor that is not in my hand, that's external world. But that does not make a big difference in my activity. Okay? All through, when you talk about the life of Buddha, what is Buddha's life? If he was a kind of a creature of destiny, he would have been nothing but a small prince of a small Shaka clan in a small place called, Kapilavathu. And nobody would have known him. What he did was, he broke that pattern, he came out of it. And then he said, and all through his life he kept on saying, work out your own salvation. Don't depend on this or that. Don't even believe what your old books say. Don't believe in what your ancestors have said. Think it out. Rationalize. Put your mind to it. And after you think that it is good, work it out. Don't depend on anybody. Don't even depend on me. As a Buddha, don't even depend on me as a Buddha. There is a Buddha within you that needs to be. This is the philosophy he had thought of tremendous self-effort, of self-dependence. And it has been successful, and for more than 2,500 years we are seeing this kind of a great, you can say, proliferation of Buddhism. Every religion, now not all religions, not all philosophies believed in God. Like you have the Sankhyas. The old Sankhyas never believed in any God. So we have philosophies that don't believe in a God. They taught you, if there's a God or there's whatever is there with 20 hands or 5 feet or 10 heads, we don't know. Find it out for yourself. And it starts with depending on yourself. So this kind of dependence, this kind of, you can say, action is what is it. When we talk about it psychologically, we know that every karma, let's come back to the word karma, every work that we do has two aspects. One, a conscious aspect, I lift this thing. But I also know that this is a watch and this is a table, and I know I'm lifting it. Part of the karma is subconscious, which is called memory. No? So your memory, your subconscious and your conscious works together. Okay. When we have this karma, can I counteract this what I have done? Yes. And this is very clear. Holy Mother says that you have one thorn in your body, even Sri Ramakrishna, you take another thorn and pull that first one out and throw both of them away. That's what it is. So one karma can be countered by another karma. And this is what happens when you are counteracting certain habits which you have, which are simply dragging you down. These can be countered. And you know how to counter it. And slowly, you are finding that as you keep on countering one action with another action, or one karma with another action, one thought with another thought, a kind of a depressing thought comes over and over and over, and it's pulling me down. I can counter it. Why am I going to be a slave to that chain of depressing thoughts? I can see that I can counter this thought. So, the very fact that thoughts and actions, karma, can be countered and can be countered by you, what you have created, I cannot break it. This is a very personal, you can say, struggle, a personal fight. Only you can do it. And that's where another factor comes in. People, they run to this Babaji, that temple, and this place, and that place, and run all over the place. Kind of a shortcut, a kind of a relief, a kind of a discount, and they keep on doing it. The very fact is, you are supposed to do it. And if you can do it, the sense of freedom, the sense of conquest, is a tremendous thing. You see what happens in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna had come to fight. He came, he was a warrior, and his duty was a warrior, he came to fight. And then when he came to fight there, suddenly what happened was he got into a kind of a confusion. He looked at that army and then he said, I'm supposed to fight my own people. And what he said was, let us forget this kingdom business. Let us go to the forest. चले जाएंगे, उसमें क्या है? भिक्षा करके जिएंगे. किसको राज्य चाहिए? The moment he said it, Sri Krishna says, "Are klaibyamma smagama partha." Are you are talking like a, there's a Hindi word chakka. So you're talking like a kind of Newtagent. You are supposed to be a fighter, you're supposed to be a hero, you come here and you're talking like this. Fight. And this is the whole, people talk about Bhagavad Gita in various ways. But this is what is, you are supposed to do this, don't run away from here. And the moment you say, this is my destiny, I'm destined to be this, I'm destined to eat this, I'm destined to wear this, I'm destined to go here, I'm destined to there, you have lost your battle, my friend. You have lost a battle, and this is where we find that sense of fight and the sense of conquest and the sense of victory has gone away from me. Slowly, 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 we find that we lose our moorings. So what the Bhagavad Gita teaches is nothing but this. We are supposed to conquest, we want to fight. Okay. Now, when you're talking about karma, there's a kind of a law. Everything works under law, in this universe. Everything works under law. Talk about physical laws, or chemical laws, or biological laws, or this and that, or we talk about principles, or whatever it is. Even karma works under the principle, the principle of samskaras. That is samskaras in the sense of impressions. We have an conscious action. Suppose I'm learning to play the piano, okay? I'm doing it consciously. I'm watching that key and pressing it consciously. After a while, I can look about here and keep on playing. My conscious action has become subconscious action. Okay? It's very simple. So everything that we do is nothing but a kind of a self, you can say subconscious, you can say activity. Conscious plus a subconscious activity. I'm playing the piano, I'm watching that, you can say, the piece of music written, the score, and I am, at the same time, years and years of practice has given me a kind of a mastery over the keys and the mastery over the tempo and the pitch and all these things. So I'm playing it. So every action, conscious and subconscious. The conscious action is karma. Karma has two parts. The one, that which I perceive, which I decide when I do something, and other part is the samskara. There are various samskaras, various impressions. We may not use the word samskara, let's use the word the memory traces. It's called engrams. So the whole mind is full of these things. For us to conquer destiny, we'll have to push part of that samskaras to one side. Counter it, keep on countering. See what happens is, suppose I today am the result of my past. Okay, I know that whatever I've done, I have got this. Okay. So it's like a chain, you know. If I find one link in the chain, I know the whole chain. You see, if there's an infinite chain in front of me, how do I study it? I study one link or two links. Why should I study the whole, you can say, chain? When I study one link, I see this thing repeated over and over. If I see certain mistakes of mine repeated, I can keep on correcting all these things. This is where you can say, if my past has brought me here, that chain has brought me here, I can understand that in the future also this link will be repeated, but with a kind of a modification. And this is where your power of Purushakara comes in. Okay. Now, when I have, talk about, you know, people talk about morality. Why should you be moral and why should you be this and that and all? If you are moral, you have a tremendous control over your destiny. In fact, the immoral person is a, you can say, the slave of that power called destiny. He is destined, he's got a miserable life. Here you have the idea, why should you be moral? And what the idea of morality is what? Your heart and your mind, your powers expand. When you do something bad, you hurt somebody, you abuse somebody, all your powers are becoming, you can say, sankochita. You can say reduced. And this is where one is want to say, your powers need to be expanded. Certain actions you do expand your powers. Certain actions you do contracts your powers. And those actions, you don't need to go to books and you know it yourself. If I do this particular thing, I feel good. And those around me feel good. That's the whole of, you can say, morality. Do good and speak the truth. We've heard of this over and over and over again. Why do we fail? Because we've not tested the whole thing. We have picked up certain things like parrots. We have not digested it, not made it our own. And we keep on saying, oh, you need to speak the truth. But why? Have I experimented with it? Have I seen its effects? If I seen its results, I have not done it. Oh, speak the truth, speak the truth, speak the truth. This is where your power of Purushakara, self-effort comes in. You are now changing yourself. You see, what happens is, we can change our appearance. If I'm fat, I become thin, I can become fat, I can become muscular. I go to the gym and this and that. As you keep on thinking thoughts, your features also change. Your eyes are much more compassionate, you express love, and and then if you keep on doing bad things, your body language and everything about you will repel people out. Okay? Instead of attracting people, repel out. So here we are sculpting our bodies and minds constantly. With what? With our own minds. Okay? Now, when we talk about sadhana, okay? But sadhana is any kind of discipline, anything you go through for years and years and rigorously. If you want to play a sitar, you want to be a maestro. If you say, I have practiced for 2 hours, for 2 years, yet I am not a maestro. You'll have to practice it at least 13 or 14, 15 hours a day for 10, 12 years. And then you have some degree of control over this music and the instrument. Okay, that is sadhana. Okay, and when you come to kind of a spiritual sadhana, any kind of sadhana, when you come to a spiritual sadhana, what happens is that this karma that you do, you constantly 15, 16 hours a day, intense sadhana, actually burns other karma. This is it's very important. I am destined to be like this. forever. No, you are not destined. Your sadhana, your intense actions can not only counter other actions, your old actions, but also burn them. You see, Holy Mother says, where you are supposed to get a wound like a big plowshare, with a plowshare, you get a pinprick, okay, if you are doing sadhana. This is very important. So here you have the power not only of yourself over your mind, but also how you have molded it. Certain actions are very powerful. Destiny also, suppose you have this idea, no, that a person has, that destiny is like a kind of a god or a goddess, and it comes and nirriti, no, and it tries to catch you, surround you, pull you, and all that. We have this idea that destiny is with us, and fortune smiles on us, and lady luck. There is no luck. This idea of luck is not there in Hindu philosophy and psychology. You have worked somewhere down there, and you don't know the sequence of events, but it has come to you because of your work. There is no luck. There is no fortunate thing that has happened. What happens is, there are many factors. Suppose destiny comes to you with one form, and depending on your state of your body and the state of your mind, that effect might be less or more. Okay, you will not get that thing as it is. Suppose a person comes, he's supposed to, let's give an example, concrete example. There was a monk who goes to Holy Mother and says, no, just for fun, just see, this person's horoscope was there, and then I had taken it to an astrologer, and the astrologer says that, you see, why are you trying to make fun of me? Saying, what fun of me? Say, this is this is the chart. Saying, this person is dead. You're bringing a dead man's horoscope to me. So he's saying, no, this person is alive. He's there. You're trying to fool me and fool my science. Okay. So he goes to the Holy Mother with that horoscope and saying, this person is alive, this person saying he's dead. Saying, when that person was supposed to die, he took sannyasa. That converted. Okay. I'll give you another small, you can say, story from Swami Vivekananda. So there was a great astrologer who comes to a king, and they go to kings, to make money, You catch a big patron, So the king was very happy and said, come. So he looked at the king's horoscope and said, oh, king, you're going to die next year. That was enough. This guy, he says, he stops going to the court, he stops meeting with ministers, stops. The prime minister gets worried. He's gone into a kind of depression. There's no point in living, just 1 year, and what more can I do? Forget the whole thing. So the prime minister, after a few days, he calls that astrologer, you come here. And he brings the king also. Are you sure that the king is going to die in 1 year? He again makes all the great calculations. Agle saal mar jayega. Sure, sure. What about you? When will you die? He makes his again calculations. 10 years. So the minister comes, takes his sword and kills him. He's a liar, O king. So he was confident that he is going to live for another 10 years. Okay. Another factor comes of destiny and comes and finishes them off. There is another traditional story about King Vikramaditya. He was in the forest, on a hunt. And it had rained and that forest was mucky, So he got lost trying to, chase a deer. And after a while he's seen footprints in that forest. Then he removed his shoes and he made an impress of his own feet near those footprints, and he found exactly those same lines which are there on his foot are on that other person's foot. He follows those footprints. He sees some woodcutter in that forest. Let me see your palms. And he says that the palms also are matching. Every line is matching. So it could be a coincidence. This person is born like that with those same signs. He knows that there is only one Chakravarti king at one period of time. I am that king. Either I am the king or he is the king. One of us is the king or an imposter. Next day, those guards come, the ministers come, they take him. They're saying, come, both of us, let us go. Then he made a kind of this. Who's the real king? He bought all these people. And finally you have this idea that they check all the signs, and all the signs are matching. Vikramaditya's signs on his body, feet, hands, this, and that woodcutters. Then they found one old astrologer comes. He takes a little atta leta hai na, little flour, puts it in water, and he presses it on the palate, of that, both the kings as well as that woodcutters. And on the woodcutter's palate, there was like a kind of a crow's feet, so 3, lines. Saying, oh king, this is there, this cancels all the other lines of his. Okay. So you have many factors that are there which are unseen, which you do not know. And you think that this is my destiny. No. There may be factors. Like I said, Adhishtanam tata karta karanam. There is a daivam chayavatra. The 5th factor outside. It does not matter. There are plenty of factors. The state of your mind, the state of your health, and many things. Nothing that you have done 100% here will come as 100% year as an effect. Maybe you go to a holy place, a tirtha. Maybe you gave somebody something, say some 10 rupees, some 10 years back. Okay, here you will have a kind of a open darshan at that tirtha. Some punya you have, some good merit you have done there. And here also in this temple also you give another 10 rupees to somebody else. Giving 10 rupees to a person in the temple precincts has got more power than giving 10 rupees somewhere else. So time, desh, kal, and patra. So you have time, place, circumstances also that enhance your power of, you can say, karma, or diminish your power. So everywhere you must be able to understand, what can I do with a minimum effort, get a maximum, you can say, benefit. This is slowly how you keep on counteracting your old, you can say, ideas. I'm talking about old ideas of destiny. Now what happens is, certain things you have set in motion. Okay, you cannot help it, but either you're a female or a male, you will have to work under those limitations. Okay, and you're an Indian, or maybe you're an American or whatever, you'll have to work under those nationality, and maybe you're a Hindu or a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Christian, you have to work under. At one point of time, as you keep on exerting yourself, you rise above this idea of male and female, of Indian, and all these limitations are there. You are a person, and you feel that all these kinds of limitations which were there, which had been put on you, are being peeled off slowly, and you are what you are. So what is that thing? You see, what happens is, there is a power of, when I started with the power of self-consciousness. Okay, the power of self-consciousness. So what is self-consciousness? Is it only limited to my brain and my body and this and that? No. There are very deeper layers to this consciousness. If you can step back and go towards the source of your self-consciousness, you are going beyond all physical laws, all laws of karma. Okay? Whatever bondage that you have set in motion, there is nothing straight in this universe. You throw a stone, Swami Vivekananda says, you live long enough, and the stone will come and fall on your head or fall on your hand or whatever. You thought you got rid of that thing. No, it will come back to you. Whatever you have set in motion, it will come back to you. But your power of, the present power of your self-effort can reduce the effect of what is coming first. And even if it comes, it's not going to unsettle you. It's not going to upset you. You know that you have got a tremendous power over these small things. I scolded somebody, and that somebody comes and scolds me after 20 years. Okay. That is something I had set in motion. Yes, it happens. हाँ मैं कुछ किया नहीं जिंदगी में, कभी के झूठ नहीं बोला और ये हमको मार दिया. Somewhere deep down nothing happens without your sanction. You have done those things. And as subconscious, you have forgotten these things. The moment you understand, I am to blame. Misery, I am to blame. Not my parents, not my friends, not my clan, not my this, not my that, not my professor, nobody. I am to blame. You are now starting to conquer your destiny. I don't blame anybody. I know that I am too powerful and too great, and as a self-conscious being, I am greater than all these small things. So I always give a kind of a regular example. There's a huge, you can say, buffalo sitting down, and 2 or 3 mosquitoes come, and they sit on the buffalo's horn. And after a while, they feel bad, you see, I'm sorry, we are disturbing you. I hope you don't mind. No, you don't disturb me. You can get your whole family also and come and sit on my horn. What is that to me? What happens is, when you come down to your conscious, the base of your being, your existence, you find yourself as too big, too great, too powerful. These small things don't bother you at all. Nothing. And so what happens is, you understand, and as you keep on getting down to your level of consciousness, you find your powers increasing, and you can transmit these powers to others, That's very important. Others around you will feel a kind of they feel uplifted in your presence. They feel happy in your presence. They feel, you can say, empowered in your presence. That's important. And so there are some people who will drag you down, and they will take your time, and they will take your energy, and they will take your pound of flesh, and they will make you miserable, and they will tell all the saddest stories in the world to you. There are some people like that. So for the time being, avoid such people. Yeah, you don't have to. You don't have to be an enemy, but you will find a kind of a greatness, a strength getting out. Then you can understand. The Swami Vivekananda, the next part is, all the strength and succor you want is within yourself. It's within yourself. That is it. So make your own future. You can make your future, and as you are linked with others, you can make their future also. If you are a good student, you will make others also good students. You don't need to wait for a professor to make them good students. Oh yes. If you are a good citizen, you will make those around you a good citizen. If you feel kind of a tremendous self-confidence, you will transmit that self-confidence to others. It is inevitable. So you are within yourself, you are raising yourself and raising others. Even if you are linked with others, there are powerful souls who come and raise the whole of, you can say, the country or the society, You have, in India, you have these saints, and they had a tremendous, they looked in and talked, not in very classical, you can say, a polished language. but they had a tremendous power. They lifted people up and they changed history. These are the people who can change history. These powerful souls can change history. We can change our own story. Why not? And what were they? They had that consciousness. Every person who is destined to be great understands that they know, I am going to do something in this world. Swami Vivekananda keeps on saying, leave a mark and go. Don't come. And there are more than now 7 billion people. And what is something special about you? You will come, you live and die. What's so great about this? What's great about your existence? To you, you think you are great. Who thinks who? That is your conception of yourself. There are billions of people who are talented, who are greater than you. Leave something, leave a mark and go and do something. And then you start manifesting your power. So what is this consciousness? This is the consciousness that all through people have been talking about. This is your existence. Manifest your existence. And then what happens is, when you look at the night sky and then you see this fire there in front of you, like our ancestors used to do, you'll see the whole heavens and you will say, my God, the very fact that I am conscious of this whole existence spread out in front of me, this whole, you can not only Milky Way, this whole universe of billions and billions of galaxies, I am conscious. I am made of the same stuff that these things are made. Yet, there's something special in me that I can understand this whole thing. You have understood the limits of your power. You have become the masters and the creator of your own destiny. Thank you very much. I'll stop here. It has been a pleasure to talk to you on this, because I can understand that these are questions that everyone asks, and I hope that you have certain answers to those questions. Thank you very much. How to control that mind? Yes, how to control that mind? You see, even that's a great question. Even Arjuna said, Chanchalam mi mana Krishna pramati balavadritam. That mind is very, you can say, powerful, and to control that mind is like controlling the wind. And Sri Krishna says, Asamshayam mahabhava. I know there's no doubt that it is difficult. Mano durnigraham abhyasena takauntaya vairagyanata. Through practice and through detachment. Okay. Our mind is like a packet of mustard seeds. It has opened and all that seeds are very small. They've flown all over the place. Now you're trying to collect all those things. It's going to be very difficult. But if you want it, you can collect each and every mustard seed, and then you can. So, for starters, keep on breathing deeply. Okay? Take deep breaths, regular breaths. You'll see the mind slowly calming down and coming back to you. Okay? You can do that for starters. And once you can control the mind, do you know what's your mind like? Have you seen your mind? कभी देखा नहीं. ब्रेन का चित्र थोड़ा देखा है, सीटी स्कैन थोड़ा देखा है, पर ब्रेन में क्या है लोगों को पता नहीं है. न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट को पूछ लीजिए क्या है, ब्रेन कैसा चलता है, पता नहीं. माइंड कहाँ है, पता नहीं. कहाँ भीतर इधर कोई है ना. तो जैसी दृष्टि सूक्ष्म होती है, आप देखते हैं कि वो मन का प्रत्यक्ष होता है. So to understand the mind, we understand only the few, you can say, layers. A strong emotion comes, a hate or an anger, or I'm thinking of a particular thing, or I solve a mathematical problem, and so I'm only conscious of a very, you can say, the tip of an iceberg of my mind. The greater part of my mind is beyond my perception. क्यों? मैं सबसे मैं बाहर देखता हूँ. अगर मैं अंदर अंतर्मुखी बन जाऊंगा तो देखूंगी कि मैं देख पाऊंगा सब जो चीज है. to control the mind, and then, you have done what you're supposed to do in life, control the mind. And then what happened? No? Every power in this universe becomes yours. Yes, every power in the, whether it's divine power or physical power or any kind of, it becomes yours. So right now you cannot control your mind. You need to direct your mind. It is going here and there. For the time being, bring it and push it in one direction. Don't try to control it. You try to control it, that fellow will take you and drag you somewhere else. No, it's because we are not trained. So the best thing is to give it a kind of a direction, a positive direction. Slowly, as that positive direction keeps on growing, then you can slowly lift it, understand it and lift it. And then you can control the mind. Always remember that there is something called, even Patanjali talks about yoga, chitta, vritti, nirodha. He does not talk about control of the mind. This is a very wrong conception. You are controlling the vritti, the thought wave. What is yoga? Chitta, vritti, nirodha. The vritti is what is the whirlpool or the wave on the mind that comes. You are controlling that, not the mind. Okay? So that comes later, don't worry. After samadhi. Yes, please.
Sir, what do you understand by that fire doesn't burn?
Yeah. What do I understand is, I have seen people with a normal person suddenly gets into a kind of every religion and every rite has a kind of a music and dance, Slowly, the people keep on swaying with the music, and then slowly, then what happens is, he gets into a kind of a higher state of, you can say, mind. And then he is made to walk over those coals or made to sit on fire, and nothing happens to him. There's no mark at all on the body. Nothing happens. This has been in India for thousands of years. We have experimented with the mind, we've experimented with all these powers of the mind. Don't think that these laws of the fire and water and all are final things. Nothing. There are people who can sit underwater for years and years and years. Nothing happens to them. Yes. And there are some people who supposedly they get into a kind of a samadhi and they die, as they say, and then after years and years they come out of it. And what is this? So the study of prana and mana has been done in such a, you can say, extent in India that we have not left anything. Baki kuch rakha hai. Nothing. We have done it. And there are people who have practiced and done all these things. So your mind can conquer even your physical, you can say, things. So it can conquer destiny also. There's no problem. Okay. So it is there. It's a fact. Don't worry. Yeah.
ग्रहों का एक दूसरे पे प्रभाव तो पड़ता ही है। उसको अपन फिफ्थ फैक्टर में इंक्लूड करें, एक्सटर्नल जो फैक्टर हैं जो आपने पांच बताए उनको फिफ्थ में इंक्लूड करें, फिर भी अपने को फायदा उठाना चाहिए।
फायदा उठाना चाहिए भाई। ये जो ग्लास है, ये माइक है ना, इतने पास में है, ये फैक्टर क्यों नहीं लेता है? वो इतना ग्रह नक्षत्र कहाँ क्यों नहीं लेता, इतना दूर जो है। अरे astrology is everything is pseudo, okay? It has given rise to astronomy, okay? That's the only advantage, and you have this alchemist who gave rise to now modern chemistry and all these things. For that is don't go there, come here. You have itne bolne ke baad all the strength is within you, all the power is within you. Abhi nakshatra aur grah ke paas yahi problem hai na hum log ka. थोड़ा कोई पत्थर पहनूंगा, थोड़े कवच पहनूंगा, कोई ये करूंगा, अरे ये जो पास में है मेरा, इसका इफेक्ट मेरे ऊपर ज्यादा ही है ना? तो इतना दूर है, और क्या है, ये क्षणी है, और एक ये है मिस्टर सो एंड सो, मिस्टर और क्या क्या स्टोरीज लगाया, बोलते ना इंडियंस आर वेरी गुड. इनफैक्ट नॉट ओनली इंडियंस, आई डोंट, वी हैव द ह्यूमन नेचर टू make stories, build up stories, and slowly do all these things. That the whole teaching is to remove inside. You can crush those graha and nakshatra. Yeah? You can crush them actually, not with your hands, no, you don't with the hands, but mentally you can crush things. You can crush the influence if there is an influence. So this astrology is nothing but pattern, you know. इस तारीख पे नवंबर में या दिसंबर में, जनवरी में, हाँ तो वो वैसा ही है, ऐसा ही है, वैसा ही है, वैसा ही है. तो it helped human nature, humanity some years back. Now that dependence should come out of it. You should never depend on yourself. ठीक है ना? क्या
depend on self, that is okay, but अगर उसमें फायदा लेने में कोई बुराई तो नहीं है. अगर कोई साइंस पहले से डेवलप की हुई है पुराने लोगों की,
वो स्यूडो साइंस है ना. गो फॉर द रियल थिंग. प्रॉब्लम यही है. तो देखिए बार बार वही पूछेगा. नहीं बुराई नहीं. ये हम लोग का थिंकिंग ही वैसे ही है ना. यस, हाउ विल हैव टू some dependence on something. So if I blame or praise myself for what I have done, this is the first step in self growth, in evolution. ठीक है ना?
स्वामी जी, एक बात स्वामी विवेकानंद ने कहा था कि मुझे 100 व्यक्ति मिल जाए, मैं मेरी इच्छा शक्ति श्रद्धावान हो तो मैं जमाना बदल दूंगा. क्या आज के समय में 100 into 100 अगर 10,000 व्यक्ति नहीं होंगे पूरी वर्ल्ड में जो उसी की जैसे?
अरे नहीं है, वो एक भी नहीं मिलेगा स्वामी विवेकानंद के जैसे. यही प्रॉब्लम है ना. प्रॉब्लम इधर ही है. मैं भी जब बचपन में स्वामी विवेकानंद को देखे, स्वामी विवेकानंद के जैसे बनूंगा, वो अलग एक क्लास के ही है. दे आर डिफरेंट क्लास. इवन इफ आई ट्राई सो मच, आई विल नॉट कम टू दैट लेवल. नेवर. I don't have to think. But from what I am, I can start developing myself. वो आदर्श बनाएगा उनको. तो यही है, आदर्श बनाएगा. अरे this is what it is. He was what I would like to be. And he was everything, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, and this and all these things. I make him an ideal. Or I may not become 100% like him. I should become a little like him. आदर्श माने क्या? आदर्श माने दर्पण के जैसे सामने रख दिया. मैं खुद को देखूंगा. मैं खुद को ना देख के स्वामी विवेकानंद को रख दिया है, अभी देख रहा हूं उसका. तो एक भी नहीं है भाई.
स्वामी जी कभी सोचते हैं मन में, जो भारत के परमवीर चक्र जो पाते हैं, जिसके लिए कितना बड़ा काम करते हैं, तो हमें तो भगवान के अच्छे भक्त हैं, या जो है जो भारत की पूरी औद्योगिक व्यवस्था संभाले हुए हैं और सही काम कर रहे हैं, या अच्छी राजनेता हुए अच्छे काम कर रहे हैं. तो मुझे लगता है कि
देखिए ये माया का जगत है. ये अच्छे बुराई सदा हमेशा रहेगा. ये जो राम राज्य, एक छोड़ दीजिए, कभी एक आइडियल सोसाइटी नहीं था. वी ऑल्सो, हम लोग होते ना एक आदर्श सोसाइटी जहाँ क्राइम नहीं है, जहाँ ये नहीं है, वो नहीं है, बुराई नहीं है. नहीं, ये कभी नहीं होगा, कभी हुआ नहीं. बस यू शुड नॉट, कोई भ्रम में नहीं रहना है. यू शुड नॉट कम अंडर काइंड ऑफ एन इल्यूशन. दिस इज द नेचर ऑफ द वर्ल्ड. वो 10,000 साल पहले ऐसा ही था, अभी भी है. इस भ्रम से हम लोग निकल जा सकते हैं. ये जैसे ये ग्रह है, ये नक्षत्र है. मैं अगर मुस्कुराऊं या इसको शनि को थोड़ा क्या तेल फल कुछ दे दूं से, आहा शनि तो मुस्कुराएगा. क्यों? तो इस भ्रम से मैं निकल सकता हूं, है ना. और जैसे मैं भ्रम से निकल जाता हूं, तब तो मैं तो खुद की तो उन्नति होती है, दूसरों को भी उन्नति हो. दूसरों इसलिए मुक्तश्च अन्यान विमोचयेत्. जो मुक्त है वो दूसरों को मुक्त करेगा. तो ये अरे, और क्या है ना, स्वामी विवेकानंद का एक स्वप्न था भारतवर्ष के लिए। अभी देखिए ना, जो ये स्वामी विवेकानंद का सपना था, परंतु उनका जो दृष्टि थी, उनका जो देखा था दर्शन, गलत नहीं था। हम लोग अभी ट्रांजिशनल फेज में जा रहे हैं। जैसे तूफान आंधी आई है ना, सब पता नहीं चलता क्या क्या कुछ चीज़ क्या है। आंधी समाप्त होने के बाद तब उसके बाद में देखा, ओ अच्छा ये चीज़ ऐसे ही है। भारत में जो आंधी चल रही है, क्या हो रहा है क्या नहीं हो रहा है पता नहीं चलता है। हाँ, तो जैसे आंधी समाप्त होने तो तब देखा कि नहीं, वो जो बताया था है वैसा ही है। अभी के लिए क्या है ना, इंडियंस लेजी है, सेल्फिश है एंड सुपरस्टिशियस है। और जो स्वामी विवेकानंद इसके विरुद्ध बार बार बोलते गए हैं, डोंट बी सुपरस्टिशियस, डोंट बी लेजी एंड ओपन योर हार्ट आउट, और ठीक उल्टा कर रहे हैं। वही जो बताया वो कहते ना। सो देखिए ना, क्या है ना, आप जैसे पावर मैनिफेस्ट करना चाहते देखते हैं ना, आप मने कल से जीवन परिवर्तन हो जाएगा। यू विल कम डाउन, पीपल लुक एट यू, आपका मेरुदंड देख के ही पता चलेगा ये ही हैज जागृत हो गया है।